Okay, let's talk about ChatGPT ads conversion tracking. So if you're running ChatGPT ads and if you're struggling with getting your conversion data back into the ChatGPT ads platform so you can see what ad groups, what clicks, and what ads are actually tied to your conversions, this video is for you. If you're just getting started with ChatGPT ads, and if you're confused by the whole conversion tracking setup or not even thinking about it, definitely watch this video. This video is going to only be about ChatGPT ads conversion tracking. We're not going to go into setting up the perfect ad or best practices because the platform's new, so I'd imagine it's going to evolve a ton over the next few months. And one of the biggest complaints that I see out there is people are struggling with getting their conversions reported back into ChatGPT Ads Manager. They're seeing clicks, they're seeing conversions, but they're having trouble seeing what ad groups, what clicks, and what ads are leading to what conversions. So that's all we're going to talk about in this video. We'll also make sure that it's nice and short. There's tons of other videos around best practices and how to best create your ChatGPT ad. And honestly, I don't even know the best practices. I've been testing it a ton, but like I said, it's changing constantly. So this is all about conversion tracking. If you don't know me, just a quick introduction. My name is John. I'm the founder of LeadCapture.io. It says it on the hat. The words might even be reversed on the video when I upload it. And for those of you who know me, you know I don't produce overly produced videos because, like you, I'm a business owner. I have 1,001 things to do, and creating a highly polished YouTube video is at the bottom of my list because I'm not looking to be some sort of influencer on YouTube. I do not even enjoy shooting YouTube videos. But this is a really important topic for those of you who are running ChatGPT ads. And over at LeadCapture, we just so happen to create a really easy way to fire the conversion events without having to touch code or get a developer involved. So the way that I think about it is there's basically like three things you have to do, maybe four. Thing number one, you need to set up your data source inside of ChatGPT ads in the ChatGPT Ads Manager. Thing number two, you need to set up your conversion events. In this case, we're just going to set up one conversion event. Thing number three, you need to make sure that conversion event gets fired at the time that somebody submits their your lead quiz, your lead funnel, your lead form, whatever you want to call it. Thing number four is when you're setting up your campaign, you're just going to need to make sure that your campaign is configured to report on that conversion event. And I don't think you can screw that up because I'm pretty sure they make that a required field. So that's why I'm not even going to touch on that. The biggest thing here is to make sure your conversion events fire. And that's what we're going to be covering at step three. So luckily, this is all pretty easy once you get the gist of the flow. So first, you need to set up a data source. You'll see I have three here. I'll go to create, go to data source, and then choose your data source name. Do not use my first pixel. Name it something descriptive for your business. So imagine that the business is a fictitious lead gen company in the mortgage space, maybe generating refi leads. We'll call it Tap My Mortgage. And I already have that one, so I'll just call it Tap My Mortgage Refi. Type, you definitely can't screw this up because there's only one option right now, and that's web. And then click create. So now our new data source is created. And they provide some additional fields. So you have your setup code, your pixel ID, your example event call. If you're not a developer, this might be really confusing and might give you an instant headache. But the good news is if you're using LeadCapture, you don't have to worry about setup code and example event call. The only thing you need here is your pixel ID. And yeah, so you could just ignore the rest of that. The next step would be to go to create conversion event. Don't worry about copying this unless you're not using LeadCapture. In this case, you're going to have to come back in here, get all the stuff and send it to your developer or implement it yourself. But we'll come back to this when we go to the LeadCapture side to implement. So click create conversion event. You'll see here that I actually have a conversion event already created. And as I said at the beginning of the video, we only want to create one conversion event to start. Let's not overcomplicate things. Let's just create one and just test it and make sure it's working. So just to show you, when you go to create your conversion event, click on create conversion event. You'll see data source, we just created that. Click conversion event, and then you have a few fields that you need to complete. So let's just take a look at some of the base of events. If you're familiar with Meta, it kind of feels a little bit like creating a conversion event inside of Meta. You have app install, app open, appointment scheduled, checkout scheduled, contents viewed, items added, lead created. So if you're running a lead gen campaign, like this example with Tap My Mortgage where we're capturing refi leads, then choose lead created. Now, give me a second, I have to pause because I'm about to sneeze. I do not want to sneeze with this live video running. And I don't know why I called it live because when you're watching it, it's not going to be live. And as I said, I will not be coming back in here and cleaning it up because I just want to get this live. So we have the lead created event. So that's the one we're going to be going with. And then the data source. Here is that data source that we just created. Tap My Mortgage Refi. Choose your data source and conversion window. Right now, your only choice is 30 days. You can't change that at the moment. So just click create. And now that brings us to step 3. At this point, we've created our data source. We have our conversion event. It's lead created. So let's jump back to our data source here. And we're going to copy this pixel ID. So just copy that. And let's go into LeadCapture. So here's one of our funnels that we've created inside of LeadCapture. Just to show you here, you can basically create these LeadCapture pages, quizzes, forms that allow you to capture qualified leads. Every single step here capture some data about your lead, and then you can fire your lead off into your CRM or lead distribution tool. So since in this case we have a bunch of steps in this lead quiz, we're going to be capturing the conversion event on the contact step right before the lead is redirected to the thank you message. If you only have one step, let's say you have a lead quiz or a lead form in just one step, maybe it's just contact and then thank you, same thing applies. Just choose the step or the part of your funnel where you want to fire the conversion event and click on this little pencil. This is going to open up this left-hand panel. Let me actually go back out of this. I'll click into a different step. We'll go back to contact. I'll click on this pencil. The left-hand side opened up, and we're looking for a drop down here. This says OpenAI Pixel Event. Choose Lead Created. So this is that conversion event that we just created. In fact, if we come back into ChatGPT Ads Manager, you'll see there's that pixel event, Lead Created. Make sure it matches. So going back into the quiz builder here, there's the OpenAI Pixel event. We chose Lead Created. We're going to click Save. The other thing to do is to go into Settings, Tracking and Attribution, and you can see that we make it easy to connect to your MetaPixel, Meta Conversions API, Google Tag Manager. Down here, you're going to see the OpenAI Pixel. It will be disabled by default when you come into it. Just flip the switch and then paste in your Pixel ID. So the Pixel ID is pasted in. You do not have to worry about debug logging. This is only if you run into an issue. And then click Save. So at this point, we've configured two things inside of our funnel. Pixel ID and the ChatGPT Ads conversion event. That's all we needed to do. We did not need to get a developer involved. It's really that easy. So now, if we look here at, where are we? So if we go back into ChatGPT Ads Manager, and if we look at the 3 different steps, we have the data source configured, we have our conversion event created, and then we added the conversion event inside of the lead funnel builder to the specific part of the lead quiz where we want the conversion event to fire. And that's, again, all we had to do. The only other thing to do is to make sure when you're creating your campaign that you choose the conversion event or set of events that you created inside a ChatGPT Ads Manager. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I think they require you to do this, so you really can't mess that step up. Then run your form and send some tests through, come back in and see if the events are firing. They should be, because it's really that simple to set up and you really can't mess it up. So that's the process. Now here's my take on ChatGPT ads. As of shooting this video, it's June 24th. I think that the platform has a ton of potential, and it's something I plan to test here and there. But what I really want to see, and I think the biggest problem with it right now, is there's no way to get more granular insights into what's driving the clicks. And because of that, you can't fine tune the optimization and you kind of feel like you're flying blind. To give you an example, I think of Google paid search. So with AdWords or Google Ads, you can simply go into a search terms report, see what search terms are driving clicks, and begin to optimize and block out keywords with negative keywords, bid on different keywords. And ChatGPT Ads doesn't have that level of insight yet. I think it's coming. I don't know what that looks like though, because I don't know if they would base it on search terms since ChatGPT Ads is probably more of a longer query than a search term. I don't know if they're going to be showing different threads that you show up in or search terms or what, but I'm hoping that they produce some sort of insights that we can then use to optimize the ads on. Because until that happens, I feel like we're flying blind and it makes me not really want to use it because I could just put that budget and focus into channels that I can actually get detailed insights into. But with that said, I do think ChatGPT Ads has a lot of potential, especially with so much search beginning to shift to AI based search tools like OpenAI, like ChatGPT. So it'll be interesting to test. I think it's the future, and it's something at LeadCapture that we're going to continue to develop on, at least as far as tracking and attribution goes. If you end up using the LeadCapture ChatGPT ads integration, if you run into problems with it, or if there's any features that we need to add in, feel free to reach out. Always happy to dive into this more and continue to build it out. Thank you.